and welcome to another episode of Three Crones and the Woo Woo. I am your host, Ms. Gayle Nicholson with Creative Command Coaching and Consulting, and to my side, I have Ms. Krista Ducharme with We're starting over. So, Dimensional Healing with Krista on Facebook, and supporting us from down there is Damaris Samolinski with Ask the Genie with Damaris Samolinski. Wow, I don't know what is going on with me today, but I am way too excited, and all I'm drinking is water. So, woohoo! Hello and welcome to everybody who is out there already, clicking in, finding your seats, getting comfortable, having, whatever lunchtime, breakfast time, or dinner time beverage of your choice may be.
I'm having tea tonight.
You're having tea tonight? Ah. Awesome.
I'm not drinking anything today.
Oh, wow. Okay. For those of you who are tuning in, please give us some likes, give us some loves, scooch on over to the YouTube webpage. And if you haven't subscribed, do that, please. Watch us on GayleNicholson.com and make a comment if you'd like. We'd love hearing from you. And oh my gosh, this past week, we have had some great interactions in the Facebook group, mainly thanks to Miss Krista, because she has been the mastermind behind some of these really fun little activity posts that we've been doing, like yesterday's 2 Truths and a Lie. So, Krista, you already revealed your lie, but for those of us who haven't seen the post yet, tell us a little bit more about your 2 truths and a lie.
Okay, so my 2 truths are that I have 3 children, Zachary, and Gayle caught my misspelling. Yes, that was just a flub up.
I'm like, that's the lie. That's not her son's name.
No.
She's being sneaky.
I can get sneaky, but no, I kept this one simple. So Zachary, Gregory, and Genevieve are 3 adult children. All learning to adult. They're in that age group. And then my other truth, what was the other one that I put? I can't even remember, but my lie is number 2.
The second one was about the crystals.
The second one was about the crystals. I wrote that I've only been using and collecting crystals for a couple of years since I became a certified crystal healer. Well, the truth in it is I am a certified crystal healer. The lie is that I've only been collecting crystals for a couple of years. The truth being, I've been collecting crystals and working with crystals long before I really knew, understood, or could comprehend that, hey, not everybody talks to crystals.
No.
And for me, I like to explain it that they sing to me and they tell me their stories. And my kids will always say they're funny. They'll be like, yeah, this is my mom. She's a little strange because rocks and crystals talk to her. And she talks back.
My mother used to say, it's okay to talk to yourself. It's even okay to answer yourself. It's when you look at yourself sideways and go, huh? That's when you've got a problem.
Yeah. So you guys all did great. I have to say, you know me better. You know me better than I thought. So I thought that was really good. And you've paid attention to the fact that those who are paying attention, and it was really kind of interesting because even some friends, they don't always get to watch us, but they chimed in for that comment because they're like, no. and then I get a comment, on my messages, Krista, why did you choose that as your lie? It's like, talk about obvious. Well, I just wanted everyone to play.
There you go.
But I'm excited to find out about yours. Okay, wait. Who's going to go first? Which one? Gayle?
Damaris.
Okay, Damaris. All right. So you're going to go first about your 2 truths and a lie. Okay. So I said that you haven't talked to 700 people. Gayle, what did you say? about Damaris?
My guess? Oh, about
Yeah.
Damaris's?
Yeah.
I guessed that number 2 she hasn't talked to 700 people yet.
Yet.
And you're both correct. You're both right. So when I was 4, I had a near-death experience. I was in a almost fatal car accident, and I was in a coma for a few months. So that's when I was 4. So that was correct. And the third one, I used to be a child care provider. I had my own business. And there was the background. There was this lady that opened up a daycare in a snooty kind of area. And the neighbors started picketing in front of a house. They didn't want her to open up a daycare. And so she started calling daycare providers that we were all like in a list. So she started calling all of us, and she wanted to get together. And she said, they're trying to close my daycare down, the town, and we all have a license through the state. So we all should get together before they start coming after all of you. So we thought it was, we were like, this is a good idea. So we all gathered together, and we went to the governor at the time, and he gave us an executive order that, the town couldn't close our daycares because it usually was in our homes. So then we got together and we formed a union, CSDA union.
Oh, wow.
So then they needed people to negotiate with the state, so I was one of the negotiators. And so they came to my daycare and they took pictures of my facility. And they then afterwards, they called me and said, would you like your picture to be like all over the place? And I was like, why not? So we were campaigning for the union. And so they put my picture in every Department of Motor Vehicles at the time. There was a huge poster. I didn't like that picture. Gayle put it up, but they thought it was nice because I was having fun on the swing set with a little girl.
Aww.
And that's the one they chose because they took other pictures, but they chose that one. So for a long time, maybe for like a year and a half, my picture was in every New York State Department of Motor Vehicles because we were just campaigning. Yeah. So I was famous then.
Oh, you're
for
famous
a minute.
For a minute. So that one was true. The lie was I have never spoken in a room of 700 people yet, like Gayle said.
Yeah.
There we go. There is the happiness embodied at the DMV.
Oh,
yes. That
That's
was
awesome.
it. And actually, they still have that picture on their website, even though I'm not a daycare provider anymore. I shifted my career, but they still have that picture on their website, the CSDA website for childcare providers. So I was surprised that they still had it on there.
That's awesome. That's really great, Damaris.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So mine, my 3 things were that I went to college in another country, that my first car was a Chrysler LeBaron, and my third one was I once told Barry Manilow a dirty joke. And Leslie Breakin, if I'm pronouncing her last name correctly, kind of gave a hint to everybody else because she's like, I know you told a dirty joke to Barry Manilow, and that was true. I have told a dirty joke to Barry Manilow, and he did laugh. So did the rest of his entourage. So I think it was pretty good. But that was one of the truths. I phrased the other truth in such a way that people's mind take it and run with it. And the other truth was that I went to college in another country. People tend to think abroad, across the pond, over in Europe or England or something like that. No, I was about 30 miles away in Canada.
That is the truth.
That is in another country. That's not USA Light. But St. Clair Applied Arts St. Clair College of Applied Arts and Technology. Yeah. And that's where I got my journalism degree. So my lie was
I thought abroad.
Yep. See, that's what everybody. Yeah, Sue with 3TL Therapy was Sue in Classic Act Imports. Also, she went right to the abroad thing.
Me too.
And she's like, I know you didn't go to school abroad. And I'm like, went in another country though. Um, so my lie was that my first car was not a Chrysler LeBaron. My first car was a Chevy Chevette.
Yeah.
So
I had a Chevette as well. So what color was yours?
beige, and then I had a white one as well.
Oh, so mine was the color of red behind you.
Wow, almost like a burnt orange. Yeah.
Oh, is that burnt orange? Okay,
No, it's red, but it just looks like burnt orange on my screen.
So it was red, and it was and so it was really funny. I don't know. Did you do the same as what I tell her? Yeah, I have my vet here. Yeah, my vet's outside.
No, that beast, that little dented up beast never graduated from the phrase puddle jumper. I have my puddle jumper, and in the winter it became the hockey puck.
Oh my gosh.
So let's have everybody who's watching put in the comments right now, what was your first car?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There's a good one.
Yeah,
Awesome.
my very first one was actually a Plymouth Valiant, but anybody who understands, a Plymouth Valiant had a slant 6 engine, and the only way you can destroy a slant 6 engine is by not putting oil in the car.
I can see where this is going.
Yeah, and I am, of course, the granddaughter of a backyard mechanic and a daughter of a backyard mechanic who's an engineer. And so I knew that you put oil in cars. As a matter of fact, I had to change my oil in order to get my license, and I still seized it. And yeah,
oh my goodness.
Which then entered in my Chevette. Happily called Cha-Cha. We called her Cha-Cha.
Awesome. Sue Ward Paquin, Chevy Impala convertible. Oh my God, that must have been gorgeous.
Nice. I had a little Toyota Corolla.
Did you?
Car.
Oh, those things go on forever too.
They do. Yeah, and they have some get up and go.
Yeah.
You know, they really do. They have some, giddy up in them.
Yeah. I have a friend back in Phoenix that he finds these Toyota Corollas on like Craigslist, 2,000 or 200,000 miles. All right, mine. And he just collects them because they go on forever.
Yes, they do.
Forever. Oh, a blue Ford.
Ooh.
Someone just posted.
Blue Ford van. I'm going to guess maybe that's one of our gentlemen from across the pond, and Adam.
Across the pond.
Oh,
I think. No, it was Ada. Ada's had the blue Ford van.
Oh,
wow. Awesome. Okay, so it's weather related, like here we finally had the first snow that stuck. And I took my Akita Jasmine, who was born in Southern California and lived in Arizona, and this is her first winter.
Wow.
With winter involved.
Oh, wow.
And oh my God, she is like a puppy again. She wants to be out there playing. We took her for a long walk during the first snowfall when it was starting to pile up, and she's prancing and having fun. And I'm like, she's never been like this before. She's in her element, and she just loves it. So
that's great.
How's the weather where you guys are at?
We had here in New York, we had hail yesterday morning, but then it went away. It didn't stick or anything, but it was coming down a lot where I am. I was on the phone with my friend, and she's about 45 minutes west of me, and she didn't have hail. So I was like, oh wow. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So we have had snow. I haven't seen it. I just, so yesterday I went to a Christmas market in Valkenburg, which is in one of the valleys, not too far from here. And it's been raining. So I can tell you it's been raining, and it's been like a chilly rain. Okay. And we've been hovering at that, that perfect snow temp. And, so I'm in the cave because that's where the market is. And I come out of the cave, and of course I have Wi-Fi, and all of a sudden my phone's going ping, ping, chirp, chirp, ping, ping. And sorry, my door opened. It was the cat. And so I open up and I'm looking at the messages. It's snowing. It's snowing. It's snowing. And then it goes, it's not snow. And then the next message, which was like 30 seconds. Oh, it stopped snowing. It stopped snowing. That was fast.
Yeah, here too. The hail was fast. It was like 5 minutes, but it was coming down a lot for, you know.
Mhm.
I was like, oh
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah, but it's chilly. I mean, I have a wintry scarf cape thing on, and it's like, okay, because it's chilly up here, where my studio is. So I'm like, I need to be warm.
Oh, yep. I've got a gold wool shawl wrap, similar to what you're wearing, not a pattern. Somebody just mentioned to me earlier this week, oh, you're getting a lot of mileage out of that. Because I wear it as a scarf. I wear it, around my shoulders when I'm, in the house and it's chilly. Yeah. And I thought about it. I'm like, you know what? Yeah. As a matter of fact, both of my grandchildren have been snuggled in this shawl, sitting by a campfire, and the wind, the night has gotten chilly, and just snuggled up in grandma's shawl. And I'm like, this piece of fabric is going to go down in family history as grandma's shawl.
Yeah.
Very sweet. That is. Yeah. That's an amazing thing when you have the stories to go with it.
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah. All right, ladies, let's kick in here. Who's going first? Damaris, right?
Yes. Damaris goes first.
Awesome.
All right. So as you guys know, we're having a total solar eclipse on the 4th. But I just really want to we'll talk more about that, next week's show. But I really want to talk about Sagittarius, and I want to talk about the moon. And I also want to talk about Jupiter, because Sag is ruled by Jupiter. So Sagittarius is all about idealism. It's about spirituality. It's about, if you're religious, it's about religion. It's also about your true love, because it sits in that 9th house. The 9th house has to do with your true love. It doesn't have to be a person. It could be something you fall in love with. It could be spirituality, if you fall in love with that. It could be anything like that. But what it really means is also, it means that, we're in control of our lives. So we can literally manifest whatever we want. But the question right now is, if you're not in control, who is or what is? And that's the question. And so if you're not in control, you're not really going to manifest what you're looking for. Or if something, if it's not a person that's in control of you, let's say, what is controlling you? Some people, they're controlled by drugs, alcohol, substances, or other things. So what the question becomes is, if you're not in control of you, then who or what is? And that's a question I want to pose for the audience. So, if they can, sort of like chime in. Now, the other part to that is the moon. The moon is all about our unconscious behavior and our unconscious emotions, things from the past that we're holding on to, that we have buried. And so one important thing that I want to talk about, the moon is in Sag, right? It's going to be in the eclipse, it's going to be in Sag. And Sag is a mutable sign, which means the mutable signs, they're flexible, they're adaptable. But if you have, let's say, your moon in for example, me, I'm going to give myself as an example. My moon is in Aquarius, which is a fixed sign. Now, let me explain a little bit about that. So cardinal signs, let's say like a Cancer, right? If your moon is in Cancer, it's a cardinal sign. It could take you a couple of weeks. The influence of that moon can take up to a couple of weeks for you to balance it, so to speak. If it's in a mutable sign, it could take months. If it's in a fixed sign, it could take years. My moon is in a fixed sign.
Oh, well, you know what? That's just not helpful. in a world of all of us wanting things instantly.
What's your moon sign in, Krista?
Mine is Libra.
Libra, yours a cardinal sign. So that means it could take you up to weeks, to balance those influences of the moon energy. Okay. For me, because it's in a fixed sign of Aquarius, it could take me up to years to balance my past emotions, what I'm holding on to, what I have buried. And it has taken me years. I mean, I had a traumatic experience with my mom. So it took me a long, long time to really work through that process.
Yeah.
So that's why some people hold on to things more than others, and that's why some people are able to release it quicker and move on and move forward and move Godward, I should say. But for those people, for me, I'm going to include myself, that it's in a fixed sign. It's really tough. It's really, really tough to release those emotions, whatever we're holding on to, whatever past hurts and whatever, however we perceived it to be, which there comes Jupiter, which is the ruler of Sag. It's all about your belief system, right? So my perception of things could have been distorted, right? And so maybe because it was distorted, that's why I held on for so long to those negative emotions, I should say. And so you have to realize that Jupiter is the biggest planet, right? And it's an expansive planet. So when we're positive, it expands the positive, but when we're negative, it expands the negative, right? So it took me years to overcome that. So when we're working with manifestation, which most of us do during the full moon, the new moon, these eclipses, if we're not in control of ourselves, those manifestations are really not going to come into life, or they're going to take a long time. If our natal moon is in a fixed sign, it could take a long time for us to release those emotions, those, that wounding that we're holding on to. And also then that affects the manifestation of whatever we're trying to manifest. The law of attraction definitely works, but I always say that the law of attraction is just like the surface, We have to work deeper than that in order to attract what it is that we're looking for. If you're on a negative, you're going to attract negative. The law of attraction has a blindfold, right?
Yeah.
It just brings whatever energy is being sent out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So what we project out, in not just verbally, not just through our actions, but through our emotions, through our energy, through our thought, through our intentions. Because you can set a great intention and be like, okay, I intend to get up tomorrow and clean my house from top to bottom, and it will shine like the top of the Chrysler building, right? That's your intention.
However, we talked about the difference between want and desire.
Yes. Yes.
Right? You go to bed going, that's a little ambitious. Maybe I'll just be happy if I, fold the laundry.
I had an interesting reading earlier before the show, and I had read this client, and she was having a lot of issues with her boyfriend. So during the last full moon, I think it was, she released him. She manifested. She didn't want to be no longer with him. She wanted to be detached from that energy. She wanted to move on and move forward and find another relationship. And so then he started acting up really badly. So we had another reading, and I was like, well, it looks like your relationship is really about done. She was like, but wait a minute, I love him so much. And then it dawned on her that she had done a manifestation to release him. And I was like, well, you got it.
There you have it. Yeah. You're getting exactly what you asked for. Yeah, we do it and we don't realize that we're doing it.
But she was mad when she released him, but she's no longer really mad. She wants to be with him, but she did release him. So now,
friend, you're not alone.
Yeah, no, and I think it happens. It happened maybe not just with a relationship, like a loving partnership relationship. I mean, it can happen with friends. Yeah. So where you've had someone who betrayed you as a friend. Right? And they betray you. And then suddenly it may not be the same person, because you're like, okay, you no longer are in my vibration. Yes. But because you're still holding on to that betrayal aspect, somebody else walks into your life, may not do the same, but it's still a betrayal. And sometimes if it's a lesson you haven't learned, yeah, it can be really bad. Now, I speak back of myself. To the moon
that I was saying.
Yeah. And so I'm speaking of a personal experience. And so so you just gotta, it's I don't want to say you have to stay in awareness, but if you are aware of that, that is something that you've created because it's a lesson that you didn't learn the first.
But we have to remember, if the person has a fixed moon sign, it's going to take them a long time to learn that lesson, because they're holding on.
What is Scorpio?
Fixed.
Okay.
I have Aquarius, so
I'm the only one that.
Cardinal. You're good.
Okay, ladies.
You're not going to hold a grudge for too long, Krista. Gayle and I may.
I saw a cute little Facebook meme that says, Scorpios, I hold on to grudges like they're family heirlooms.
You see? And it's so true, because it's a fixed sign, And so, again, going back to manifestations and the full moon and the new moon and these eclipses, if we're holding on to anger and resentment and woundings from the past, and you're trying to manifest something, I don't know if you're really going to get what you were asking for. You know what I mean? And so if we're in a negative place with that Jupiter energy, because it's in Sag, remember, Jupiter will expand the negative as well. So Jupiter, again, is going to expand whatever energy you're vibrating to at the time. So we have to be careful with the manifestations. Be careful what you wish for.
Yes. Oh, always be careful what you wish for. Rather than maybe a fixed sign. Now, I'm just throwing this out there. I am clueless. I'm asking the question because I decided I am in a safer place. I can ask this question.
Yes. Go ahead.
Thousands of miles away from both of you. I'm kidding.
Go ahead.
I know I got heavy rocks around here somewhere.
So rather than doing a manifestation, if you're somebody who's a fixed sign, and because it's more about changing or altering the energy, especially right now, since you're talking about Jupiter expanding in Sagittarius, and all that, would it be beneficial for someone who is a fixed sign and is trying to do creation or release? Maybe it's more about releasing during those moons, and using instead of the moons for manifesting, but maybe creating rather than manifesting. Now, for me, release, creation, and manifestation are all very different things.
Me too.
Right? And so, because with creation, well, first you have to release so you can let go.
That's very important.
Create anything.
Yeah, because also the eclipses are all about releasing what no longer serves. So, if, for example, if I have an attitude that doesn't serve me or my friendships or my relationships, then I need to release that attitude, right? Yeah. There's some people that they have an attitude problem. These are the moments.
I prefer to call it a boundary stand.
What? I think that, I'm like, attitude
no, I'm just
problem,
kidding, because I have an attitude problem, and it's all about I'm putting up boundaries and people aren't liking it.
But I mean, an attitude problem where they can be arrogant, right? I don't see you as arrogant, Gayle. No. I'm saying there
I've only ever been called arrogant by men whose job I was doing better than them.
Yeah, but there are people. Twice. We have to admit that there are people that are arrogant. They are, right? Oh, yeah. So those people need to work on releasing that attitude of self-righteousness or, feeling like they're better than someone else. Those kinds of attitudes need to be released, especially during the eclipse. Then once they release those, attitudes, then they can begin working on creation, on manifestation, and they're going to attract and create whatever it is that they're focusing on. But under the circumstances, if they're holding on to a lot of anger, resentment, if they have a nasty attitude, I'm sorry, they're not really going to manifest what they're looking for. And if they do, it's going to blow up in their face, because it's not going to work.
Yeah.
It's about releasing. So if you have a bad attitude,
you
need to release. Let go.
It's about time to release it, because also, it's heavy, it's density. When we have this, attitude, and we have this, negative behavior, it's heavy, it weighs you down, and then you can't really soar, you can't really move forward with all that weight. You know what I mean? It's about becoming as light as a feather, so to speak, so that you can then create whatever it is you want to create. Always believe that you can't harm anyone when you're trying to create these manifestations. You know what I mean? So like if there's relationships where people are dating a married guy, you really shouldn't be trying to, manifest this guy if he's already taken. That there's a karma attached to it. Saturn will come and slap you in the face, because that's what Saturn does.
Very big karma.
Yeah,
very big karma.
That's a big one.
Yes. Well, it happens, right?
Oh, no, it does. It does. It's a universal law. So I understand that karma is about universal laws.
Yes.
And you just don't want to break them.
Inescapable.
Yeah. Don't screw around. Maybe this week I'll write up what the different universal laws are for everybody.
Yes, that would be great.
Because I'll tell you, once you understand them, you think that the 10 Commandments is big. Well, let me tell you, understanding universal law.
Those laws, Krista, we will have to balance in this life or the next.
Oh yeah,
period.
And you do, and it once you understand, it makes life, I think, it makes it interesting. Far more.
It makes you like really be it makes you go on a straight path, because the consequences.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's how
I'm just interested to see how much of karma ascribes to the collective consciousness that Christian spirituality has laid upon us, and how much of it is actual cause and effect. Because definitely karma works, but when you put it into the box of infidelity and trying to take somebody else's man, marriage is not necessarily a Christian construct. It goes back further than that. But it's a societal norm. It's a societal law. It's not a universal law.
No, not a universal law, but it's a lot. But it is there.
So
is the law.
It interacts on what you have been taught is good and bad, and what you deserve, because you're doing bad based on your society's rules.
I get exactly what you're saying, and I get it, and I understand and agree with what you're saying. But if we go back to the philosophy of bringing harm to none, then that also has to play a role in the karma, right? So if I'm taking someone else's man and I'm bringing harm to the wife, then I have to pay back that I have to balance that out. You understand? Because I'm bringing harm to someone else. Right.
Yeah.
And it's my contention that if he's unfaithful and you're taking him from her, you're not harming the wife. You're setting her free.
100%. But she may not look at it that way.
Oh, well, that's not her. That's her karma.
The person who really has the bad karma or has the karma that follows is him. Yeah. But sadly, what then happens is then it's a triangle of connection.
Yeah.
And so that triangle of connection, it may be that it flips how you're affected in terms of how the karma plays out. Now, if you don't know that this person is married and that's totally different.
Yeah, that's different.
And we're really going down a rabbit hole.
Exactly.
Let's not go down this rabbit hole.
The number, and then I'll give it to you, Krista. Okay, so the numerology is number 1. So numerology 1 is all about being. Go ahead. Were you going to say something, Krista?
No, it's just being
Vanna.
Oh. I'm being Vanna.
Oh. Are you pointing up, or is that a 1, or is that a finger?
It's a 1. It's a 1.
It could be pointing up. It could be a finger. It depends on your perception.
Very good.
So tell us about the number, Damaris. 2 of us still have segments to do.
I'm going to tie my hands.
All right. being a leader, being assertive, being, an initiator, that's the way I see the number one, initiating your own, goals, going for it, leading other people into their goals, being the leader of the pack. It's new beginnings, everything that one, represents. It's all initiation, starting, new beginnings, being a leader. So those are the roles that we need to play, and perhaps not for other people, but for our own selves, right? And if I go back really quick to what I was saying earlier about who's in control of your life, that's when that number one should step inside of you, and you have to take control of your own life, because otherwise, if you don't control you, someone else will. I'm done.
Nice segue.
She's like, I'm done before Krista jumps in.
Well, we were talking about idealism, right? We were talking about belief, and that's why I had to jump in and say, is that a one? Is that pointing up, or is that a finger?
No, you're good. I like that. That was a good example of perception too. That's good. I love that. That's great.
Absolutely. All right, Miss Krista, in the interest of moving this along, here we go.
Oh, yes. Oh, here it is. Yes. This week is Sodalite, and I had lost it, but then I found it. Okay. So last week I said that we were going to do Aquamarine back to back. All right. So I lied. We have Sodalite in between Aquamarine. And it wasn't that I necessarily lied. What happened was the way I flipped my calendar, when you have those weeks, but it was stuck together. So it doesn't matter, because I was thinking about this when I realized it was Sodalite, that it's actually kind of good. So I'm not going to go down a huge explanation of the messaging for Sodalite, because I'm being guided to give you an exercise to do with the Sodalite instead. So those of you who have Sodalite at home, and it looks like lapis lazuli. It's blue, that blue lapis color, except it doesn't have pyrite in it. So it's blue, a bigger photo with white. I know. Do you have a bigger piece?
Yeah.
Yeah, because there we go. Thank you. That is a gorgeous piece.
Yes.
Thank you.
So if you have there she is. If you have a small piece at home, and Gayle, you can do it even with your piece. I have two ways that I want you to try working with it. Now, the Sodalite connects to our third eye, right? Which is right up here, our intuition, our sixth sense, if you will. It's a really good one for opening up our mind and for expanding, helping us to begin to expand our consciousness, but it also can help with our throat chakra as well. However, what I'm going to have you do with this is more to work with your intuition, because as we're going through these eclipses, and as like what Damaris was talking about, understanding if you're letting go, if you need to focus on letting go, or if you need to focus on creating, tapping into your intuition and trusting your intuition is key in all of it. And this is a great stone that's going to be here to help us. Now, what the exercise is, you have two options. One, if you have a small piece of Sodalite, lay on your bed or on the couch or on the floor if you don't have fur babies making fur everywhere. However you want to do it, and place the Sodalite right on your third eye. And for you, you may say, observe the sensation. Make note. Is it hot? Is it cold? Does it feel tingly? Does it feel soft? Does it feel heavy? Does it feel light? Right? Make that observation. Then I want you to close your eyes, and I want you to focus on your breath. And I want you to see, as the week progresses, if you can do this a couple of times over the next few days, see how your observations of using it changes. And see it, and really let yourself be free. Don't try to question what shows up when you're using when you're using this crystal. Go into a no judgment, be in that judgment-free zone, right? And really see what comes up. Maybe you're somebody that's going to see a lot of color. Make note of the color. I sometimes, when I know I'm working my third eye, my third chakra, third eye, I have crayons or colored pencils or markers and blank sheet of paper, because when I sit up, my third eye comes in color, and it comes in pattern. And so when I'm connecting with it, and when I'm using certain crystals and stuff, so I try to, I just sit and I'll draw out what I saw. And then I see what the messaging is with that. But what I'm asking you to do is kind of really connect to you and to your messages that you're getting. Now, the second way that you can do this is you can take, if you have a large piece of sodalite, and there's a third way too.
Hey, look, Mom, a unicorn.
If you have yourself at the house some coconut oil, fractionated oil, or like, I wouldn't use sesame, but maybe an olive, a nice grapeseed oil. Put your sodalite, like for you, Gayle, your large piece, let it sit in there like overnight, and then take just a little bit of the oil and then rub it on your third eye. Okay. And then if you want, you can add, I like to add frankincense. If you have an essential oil, please only use high quality stuff.
Yes.
My favorite brand is doTERRA, as
Mine
is
too.
Damaris. And put it up there on your third eye, and do that and see what happens for you. And do the same thing. Focus on your breath, really relax yourself, and see what comes up. Now, if you want to do both, because you can do both applications, do that. If you have a journal or a notebook, write down your thoughts. As you're doing this, you're going to get a sense of connection, which is really what we're trying to steer us all towards and to, is to connect, but not just connect with people on that physical plane. It's to also connect with the
spirit
cosmic
world,
plane,
right?
Or the what?
Spirit world.
Well, it can be the spirit world, but also our great, I can't think of the word, but the higher conscious of everybody.
Yeah.
Right. I think of it, I relate it to the Borg.
It sounds much like Jupiter when it's vibrating on a high scale, right? Because it's all about spiritualism.
And it is.
Higher mind.
And really, that's kind of where my sense of this was going. It's about connecting, and it's about connecting not just on this plane, but on the higher plane and on a higher level.
Yeah.
And make note, just see how you or how you're feeling. Make observations through the day. And with this exercise, I get a great sense that when we talk next week about aquamarine again, because guess what? We're going to be doing that. That what you learn this week and going through that eclipse and the new moon will give you a different connection of how you're going to understand aquamarine next week. Does that make sense to everybody?
Can I jump in a few minutes? For a second, I should say.
Yeah.
When you talk about sodalite, you were talking about the throat chakra, and you were also talking about the third eye.
Yes.
When you say that, right away, I felt like it's almost like intuition versus intellect. So we have to see which is the difference, your intuition or your intellect. Your intellect is going to be more on, weighing things, matters. You know what I mean? The intuition is more from connecting to the higher source. So it's really, to manifest, you got to ask yourself, am I following my intellection or am I following my intuition? And that's also got to do with Jupiter. Just want to add that.
And if you're trying to go with intellect, when we'll just use manifestation, we won't use the creation aspect.
Yes.
But in manifestation, if you're trying to manifest from logic and intellect, good luck.
Howley.
Because that ain't going to happen.
Right.
Because guess what? So intuition is over here and intellect is over here. And do you see how they're connected? Yeah, no, not really.
Yeah. But that's Sodalite, because it's got both.
And it does. And the Sodalite will help with both, because it will take that while they're over here and it brings it and it lines it back up. But unless you understand, it won't matter, because you're still going to be skewed.
It's going to be scary.
Yeah. It won't come back. It won't come to center for you, and it won't line up, because your mind is always going to trump what your knowing is trying to say.
Yes. I love that.
Yeah.
And sometimes you got to trust your knowing.
100%.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
So that's all I have.
Let's see what the King of Cups has to say about that.
Ooh.
All right. So today's card of the day in the Galaxy Tarot is the King of Cups. And of course, as always, this all kind of falls into line, right? So today's message from Galaxy Tarot is, if there is a difficult conversation you've been putting off, today is a good day to have it. Could be a conversation like, who's in charge of my life?
I like that. I like that, Gayle.
Yeah. You might not want to have that conversation. There's some answers out there you might not want to hear.
Yeah.
You have a very good understanding of your emotions. You can feel deeply without being swept away by those feelings. You can also listen easily with compassion and empathy to another's point of view. Maybe the difficult conversation you need to have is with yourself. It actually said that. Okay, that's the last slide. It actually said that.
You can't make this up.
No, you can't.
Nope. All right, so let's see. Let's do the winner next. Okay. Now, I want to thank everybody who has taken our directive and liked and commented and shared this broadcast outwards to all of your friends and family and all of the people that you don't mind thinking you're a little bit weird. Okay.
Well,
yes.
Because hopefully they'll be weird in a hidden way that you didn't know about either.
There you go.
So help us bring people, weirdos, together with the 3 Crones and the woo-woo by going ahead and doing that. Share it out, tag somebody in the comments, say, hey, you got to watch this, maybe in the bathroom, just in case you pee your pants. Just saying. Oh, underwear check. Everybody put the color of their underwear in the comments, please. Awesome.
Okay. And I'm just going to be forward. I have on yoga pants, so I'm commando.
Ooh. All righty.
Okay.
I mean, I'm like,
hey. Good to know.
Mine are black.
Nice. All right. So I want to especially thank somebody who was very, very active in our show last week and is active from week to week. She's recently come on board and gotten chatty with us, and I absolutely love what she contributes to each and every thread that she contributes in. So congratulations, Allison Baker, and thank you for being part of 3 Crones and the Woo Woo. Now, all you have to do to collect your winnings, your prize, your gift from us 3 Crones, is pick which one of us, so the 1, 2, 3, that you would like to deliver your prize. From me, it would be a tarot reading or an EFT session. From Krista, it would be a crystal scheme, and she's doing her yearly ones right now.
I
She is.
Yeah.
She's doing her yearly ones. And then from Damaris, it'll be either a numerology reading or a tarot reading, your choice. So all you have to do, Allison, is reach out to us. Let us know who it is that you would like to do your reading, and we'll set up that appointment for you. And thank you again for
Thank
being
you.
a big part of Three Crones and the Woo Woo. Yay! All righty, so here we go. This week, it's, if you haven't guessed, all about honoring yourself. Right? When we put other people in charge of our lives, we are not honoring ourselves.
Yes.
We're just not. It might look at it at the time, oh, this person makes me feel so good. That must mean I'm honoring myself. Well, no, not really, because then you start making decisions for your own life based on whether that person will take away that joy, comfort, happiness that they've given you. And it starts skewing what you actually need for your own life and what actually can show up in your life. So this week, especially with talking, listening to Krista and listening to Damaris, we've got the Jupiter expansion, right? We've got the Sodalite to actually go in and take a look at, how do I feel? What do I want? Connect me to the higher consciousness of all and see where my place is in that. Putting myself as number one, not from an arrogant standpoint, but from I need to be the leader of my own life. I do I love this woman. Her name is Corey Michelle. She's currently in Australia. She used to be here in San Diego. She does these great workshops. And she did this one that I went to, and the question was, if you were the CEO of your life, what would you make decisions for the enterprise that is your life? And I invite everyone to start thinking of themselves that way this week. If you are the CEO, the chief executive officer of your life, what choices would you make in order for your enterprise to expand? How can you be the leader of that enterprise, which is your life, right?
Absolutely.
If you've got somebody in there that's selling your secrets to the opposition, you need to get them out of your power structure, don't you? And that might mean that some other entities inside of you or parts of you have to take on double duty to make yourself feel the way that they made you feel. But you know what? You can do that. Or you can interview for other people to do that for you that won't have that little side draw out the side that's leaking your energy. All right? Does that make sense?
It makes sense.
Perfect sense.
Perfect. Yeah. So I guess it's first identifying who's ruling your life.
Yes, absolutely.
Is it you or someone else or something else?
Yeah. And it sometimes can be like tricky and difficult to identify because you think that you're the one that's choosing it, but then you have to take a look deeper and go, okay, well, decisions that I make for me, are they based on whether this thing, person, whatever is in my life? In the case we were talking about, it might be addiction to drugs or alcohol. Right?
Absolutely. Yes.
Even cigarette smoking. This is the baddest one for me because I start to make decisions on how long I'm going to be where I can't smoke. Well, then what the hell is in charge of my life? That cigarette is in charge of my life, not me. Right? If I'm making decisions based on other factors than what my soul calls for, the desires in my heart, what my skills and talents have prepared me to contribute to the world, right? Then something else is in control of my life, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So take on that I'm number one attitude, right? And you will find that doing so, you will have fewer people to blame in your life. You will have fewer people that can actually have an impact on your manifestations and what you can actually create and call into your world because they're not sorry. I was going to say blocking you, and of course, my ADHD brain started brainstorming and whiteboarding, and of course, it went to the COCK blocking. But why I laughed was because we were driving to dinner the other night, and my daughter was pointing out to me, "Look, we got a new Total Wine store. You know, they don't have one up here, or they do
cool.
now, right?"
Yeah.
And my grandson says, "But not for Grandma. Grandma can't go there." And I leaned forward to whisper in my daughter's ear, "You realize your son is cork blocking me?" So, you know, and that's just in a microcosm. There's 5-year-olds in control of my life in that moment.
That's right.
And we do have those, you know, and that's one of those things. But there's a difference if you're in awareness. So being in that awareness, yes, right now my life is slightly controlled by my 5-year-old
grandson.
Yeah. I don't have any grandchildren to control my life at the moment, you know. But,
well, it's years down the road, but they will. They will be right there, Krista. Don't think you're any different than anyone else.
Yep. Oh, I don't think I will be. I'm just not in a hurry. As I keep saying to my kids, not in a hurry.
You know, it could also be a job that's controlling you.
Yes, absolutely.
You know, it doesn't have to be a partner or a relationship or a grandson or cigarettes. It could be a job. You know, I have a friend that she works her 9 to 5 and then she goes home and still working. I'm like, but why are you still working? You clocked out. No, because I have to prepare for tomorrow. So her job is literally taking over her life. Yeah. So I'm like, wait a second, something's not right here. That job is ruling her life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's unfortunately when we put ourselves into positions like that or out of some sense of insufficiency or guilt that we create that type of a situation for ourselves because we think that helps us feel better. Like, I'm going to take 2 hours in the evening to prepare for tomorrow so I can walk into work tomorrow feeling better about my life. But your kids are doing their homework by themselves and the kitchen is just overwhelming. And oh God, I'm not going to be able to go shopping this weekend because I need to do laundry. And is it really honoring yourself to do that? Right?
Yeah.
And are they paying you for the hours that you're putting in at home?
Not
is that honoring yourself?
In my friend's case.
Yeah, probably not. It's almost always probably not, right? Anyways, so let's get onward for just a minute, and I want to make sure that we all have the opportunity to talk a little bit about our Black Friday specials and what's coming up on tap for everybody. So, Krista, you want to go first on that?
Okay, guys, I'm going to go first. I am still offering my forecast, my Oracle forecast, which literally it's for your whole next year for 2022. And I use a couple of different decks. I use crystals. It gets very exciting. It's about an hour and a half of our time together. Usually it's $120 is your investment for this fabulous time together. But right now it's $77. So book with me by going directly, messaging me. There we go. That's how we'll do it so that we can make sure our time zones match up.
Nice. Damaris, what do you got?
I have a gift certificate. So if you buy one for $100, you get another one for $100 and you're only paying half. So it's BOGO. Buy one gift certificate, just get another one for the same value at half off.
Okay, so it's buy one, get one 50%.
Yes.
Okay.
So that means you could get one reading let's say you buy a reading for yourself, and then the next one could be gifted to someone, but you're only paying half.
Nice.
For the second one.
Nice.
I love it.
That's great.
Well, I will be doing a little bit more as the time goes on. Right now, this is what I'm focusing on, and I know you can't read this. This is absolutely awful for video.
It really
but
is.
in real life on the wall, it's very eye-catching. And this is the flyer for Judy Moon's annual fundraiser to benefit the children who will be spending Christmas in the hospital over Christmas at Beaumont Royal Oak. Her son, probably about 7 or 8 years ago now, her son passed away from a brain tumor on Christmas Eve in Beaumont Royal Oak. And ever since then, every year she has done a benefit concert fundraiser, bring toys, unwrap toys, bring a, submit a donation, whether it's cash or a gift certificate to be raffled off, and help us make the Christmas for kids that are sick and not well and wondering how Santa's going to find them a little bit better. All right. And I'll be doing that this Saturday from 7 to 11 at Whiskey Taco Foxtrot in Clawson. Of course, I had to go and check the place out, make sure it was good.
On the eclipse.
Oh my God. Yeah. And it will be on the eclipse. Yeah. They're ask about their taco of the day at Whiskey Taco Foxtrot. The one that I did was like this Asian fried chicken thing. It was amazing. Really good. So we'll be there. You can buy food. You can buy drinks. You can buy raffle tickets. We'll have an entire lineup of musicians doing their thing and having a good time for a really good cause. So if you're in southeastern Michigan and you'd like to give me a hug, I'm hugging. I'm fist bumping. I'm going to be there in person. Come hug me. So, all right.
I'll hug you, but
you hug me.
Yes, I'm hugging, but it's over here.
I love it. All righty. So thank you to everyone.
Yes.
Our sponsors and our contributors, and especially to you, our audience. We have from Krista Ducharme with Dimensional Healing with Krista on Facebook. Damaris Samolinski with Ask the Genie with Damaris Samolinski. And yours truly, Gayle Nicholson with Creative Command Coaching and Consulting. From all of us at Three Crones and the Woo Woo, thank you so much for watching again this week. Please share, like, and comment to be included in our drawing for next week. And have a fantastic weekend this weekend under that eclipse. Yeah. Bye, guys.